but for now. So we got a protractor here, and I'm going to try to measure angle DNY. That's an N down in there, although you can't really see it. That's an N. Now I can measure it two different ways. First, I can measure it with D as the bottom and Y as the measurement. Notice I have to put the hole, right? You see your little hole in your protractor? Right there? That hole? It's got kind of like a crosshairs in it, because that's what you need. You've got to be able to use the crosshairs to get it on. So there are two things that I've got to have to be able to measure an angle. Number one, I have to have the vertex, the turning point, same thing you're looking at today, the middle letter, if we're worried about that, if that's another clue, right? In this case, it's angle DNY. N is going to be the vertex on every one of these. You've seen a picture like this before, except I gave you all the angles. Now you're going to have to come up with the angles yourself. So number one is, I've got to be able to put the hole on the vertex. And number two, I've got two things to line up. I've got that line that's at the bottom, right there by the crosshairs, that horizontal line. And I have this line over here. That's 0, 180. It doesn't say it, right? But you know it's coming, because it goes 50, 40, 30, 20, 10. And then you know the next thing would have to be 0. And you see this going also, 130, 140, 150, 160, 170. Obviously that is 180. So I'll keep calling this the 0, 180 line, or possibly just the 0 line or the 180 line. You need to know where it is, even though it doesn't have a number on it. So those are the two things I've got to line up besides the 0. I need that crosshairs lined up, and I need the 0, 180 lined up. If my line's too short, then I might have to extend it, or I might have to use the ruler to kind of extend it, imaginary type. But this is long enough and we can handle it. So the hole goes on the end, and that's wrong. See how my 180 line is above the line that I need? It's not matching up properly. So here I've got it lined up nicely. So I'm looking to see, essentially you want that line to disappear is what you'd like. So I'm looking at here, making sure that lines up. Well, that's pretty awful. So that's got to line up over in that area. I got to have the hole lined up, and I have to have that lined up. Well, that's pretty awful. So the hole, I need to have this lined up here, that little piece, so it kind of disappears, and that little piece out there. So I'm looking at Y, and it's going to be 20, 25, 26, somewhere between 27 and 28. So that's where I'm looking at here. Right there is what I'm looking at, and it looks like it's around 27 or 28. Okay? Now notice I can do this the other way also. I can put my protractor this way. There's no rule that says I have to start with the one on the bottom. I can start with the one on the top, on the side, wherever. And notice, of course, that I get the exact same answer. I'm going to get the same answer in that I have, here's my 0 off of Y, and there is 27 or 28. That's 25, 26, 27, 28. And so it's somewhere in between those two. So to measure, I should figure out how to do this. Let's go with that. That looks cool, huh? I really don't know how to do that. So the measure of angle D and Y is around 27 or 28 degrees. So we have that. Okay? Let's kill that. Well.